Bad just got worse. Punctures, overheating, broken axles, wrong directions, collisions. Exclusive to Supersport, the Paris Dakar Rally is proudly sponsored by Total Quartz Lubricants.
4 days to go on the Dakar 2001, and drama as Jutta Kleinschmidt apparently holds up Jean-Louis Schlesser for over 200 kilometers. In the motorcycle section, Giovanni Sala is victorious for KTM once more. And Black Africa at its best, with 4 stages to go as the rally moves from Mali to Senegal. Take a look back, though, at a few things that arrived late last night into our stage that arrived at Bamako in Mali, the second of the 2 stages there, and problems for some people. Here we see truck number 403 and the crew with, he's saying here, it's a clutch pipe and it's lost all the hydraulic fluid out of it, but we'll mend it with some of this magic steel. Now, for those of you unaware what magic steel is, it's like putty to start with, but when it is exposed to the air, it sets as hard as metal in no time at all. Other people arriving saying, and joking, saying, do you want a tow? 11 tons of truck behind a T1 car? I don't think so. However, this competitor saying, we're always trying to help our friends. He says, even if you want a bottle of Ricard, we've got one of those too. However, we've got to go now.
Bah tu vois, voilà. Un tube qui est pourri. Ça va y aller, on va le faire.
He thinks it'll be okay now, and he says, I'll see you later. Dust, as always, a problem on the Dakar, but this time the very narrow tracks, meaning that at times there is only one way through. You've got to go out into the bush, and that means risks. And risks means you could lose your points, and if you lose your points, you lose your prizes. Some people were driving the wrong way, and things can get rather hairy if you start doing that. Here, this Spanish crew having problems in their car, sponsored by the Spanish police force. He says, we're going to try and repair our suspension problem, even if we have to stay here all night. But we think that we can get to Bamako. You wait for a policeman, and there's never one there when you need one. However, teammates helping each other out as the bearings are repaired on the upright. Everything's put back together, and indeed the crew did finish yesterday. Stage giving the crews the longest day on their motorcycles or even in their cars. A 100% new stage, fast and rolling over the bandana type lateral tracks going round by the south of the Bayuli National Park. But the roads will become narrower and more winding through the bush. Just before the start this morning, everybody arriving after the road section in time and ready to take battle. Sala, Mioni, leader overall. PG Lundmark there, still struggling with his eye. Kari Tiernan et al. All there. Alfie Cox, could he go for another win today? And America's Jimmy Lewis. John Deacon too on the other BMW. And soon they were given the green flag and off they went. Starting, of course, in the order in which they finished yesterday's stage. Now, the vegetation really has got a hold as we go a little bit further northwest. However, we are predominantly going west. This the fourth to last stage of the Dakar. The KTMs being all dominance in the overall standings, holding the top 5 places. However, today it was the turn of Giovanni Sala, the Italian, on his Austrian KTM. The single-cylinder machine blasting ahead of the rest to be victorious today by 6 minutes and 19 seconds. The locals cheering him on to the echo. Second position today was not a KTM but a BMW. France cheering on Cyril Desprez, the young hotshot on the BMW flat twin, the revelation of 2000, having won the Atlas Rally last year. He will be welcoming a little bit of water, if only to cool his feet down just for a few moments on the stage today. 370 kilometers in length. Desprez catching and then passing Esteve Pujol's KTM on what was a short section of Tarmacadam. Sala first today, Desprez second, and Finland's Kari Tiernan, having won 3 stages in a row earlier this week whilst we were still in Mauritania. Having said that, the Finn saying in the bivouac only last night that even though he won relatively easily, having led from the front, he has become a lot more confident on the navigational side of things. Britain's John Deacon making it 2 BMWs in the top 4 today, only 8 minutes back of Sala. Therefore, second, third and fourth covered by less than 2 minutes. The overall leader was 5th today, Fabrizio Mioni on his number 3 KTM. The Italian 9.5 minutes back of his teammate Sala. Esteve Pujol, the Spaniard, he was 6th, even though he overshot on this particular corner. Gavado, the Chilean rider who was victorious on the first day in Morocco. All of those days ago on the Dakar, he was 7th. Not a good day for South Africa's Alfie Cox. The spring on his stand failed, and as you can see, it was flapping in the wind. Cox also hit his chin on the dash as he went over one of the enormous bumps. Cox was unlucky for him, 13th. Jean Brucy, 8th position today, 11.5 minutes back. Jordi Arcaron, the Spaniard, just behind Brucy in 9th. Only another 20 seconds back of Akerons. What of PG Lundmark, the Viking that never ever gives up? Well, Lundmark had not too good a day today, although he was cheered on by the locals. He was 10th. Lundmark, though, the leading production bike on the stage today, some 13 minutes 40 seconds back. Sala then taking the laurels today ahead of Francis Desprez. So close and yet so far for the Frenchman, his time will come. Tiernan, Deacon and Mioni. Overall, though, the Italian Mioni continues to lead from Akerons, De Gavado, Esteve Puyol and Cox.
Oggi praticamente
Winner Sala today saying it was a good stage at the beginning, but with a lot of dust. When then at the end it was very dangerous because of the big holes in the road, and I preferred not to take too many risks. So I went slower until the end.
L'ultimo pezzo di pista, fratelli, un disastro. Delle buche profondissime, molto difficile, molto pericolosa, e quindi preferito sforzare un po' di più nella parte centrale, poi il resto farlo un po' più rilassato.
Credo che Jordi abbia voluto
Overall
fare
leader Fabrizio Mioni saying, well, at least that's 800 kilometers less to Dakar. There was a lot of dust, even more than yesterday. It was like riding at night without lights. I started behind Villar, and when I got past him, I couldn't see Jordi. I went flat out and then realized that he couldn't be that far ahead. He said that I passed him in a village, but I'm not so sure. Jordi's clever. He knows how to overtake me without going against the orders of our team manager. Jordi Akeron's here saying, no, I didn't try anything clever. I just stopped at the exit of a village for a pee, and Fabrizio went past without seeing me. It's a little difficult riding to orders by KTM, but they've been trying to win this race for years, so it's understandable that they don't want to take any risks. I think Mioni is under pressure too.
Last night they gave us a modification on the road book, kilometer 262, and it was over a blind rise, and the road has got a big hole inside it, and lucky I wasn't going too fast. I came over and I fell in the hole. The bike just went sideways and I went down, but I've cut my chin, I think, on the dashboard. So it's not looking too nice. But anyway, no problem. Yeah, the stand spring broke today, so it's been flapping, and the one pipe broke on the fuel line, but it doesn't matter. It was only 70 kilometers home, and I had enough in the front tank, so it wasn't a problem.
So a big day or hard day today?
Well, no, they held me back today. You know, I had to stay behind everybody, so you know, I've just had an easy day, but it's been very dangerous. Most dangerous race of the Dakar today. It was incredible, really.
Well, yesterday on the stage, Alain Duclos finished 4th with a brilliant ride on his Honda. He started with a start number of 102, and he's from Mali. He has a French father and a Malian mother. Mali certainly embraced their hero yesterday. It was a brilliant ride by the local. And he's saying here, I wanted to come back home in style. I took some risks, but everything went well, so I'm happy and looking forward to the Bakel stage. However, he has also been raising some money for charity whilst riding on the Dakar. He says here is a check from SOS Sahel France for 20,000 francs, that's around $3,000 US, for the work you are doing here in Sahel. We think that the work you are doing is brilliant, and I encourage you to continue. Now in Bamako, though, he goes to find his mum. And his mum here saying, I'm a very happy mother and very proud of my son. Today, though, we hooked up with Alan on board with his Honda. It was a very emotional and very overwhelming moment for me yesterday. I gave the money, I saw my family, and the result of the day. It was brilliant for me and a huge emotional rush.
Ça faisait beaucoup pour une seule personne et j'ai un peu craqué.
So after yesterday's problems, the overall leader of the Dakar 0-1, Hiroshi Mashioka, looking to try and consolidate his 6-minute and 28-second lead overall after nearly some 61 hours of rallying. How close can it be after such a long period of time since the Eiffel Tower on New Year's Day? Here we are on stage 17, and Mashioka has got nothing to lose but go flat out. He will know that Schlesser is fighting hard behind. However, Mashioka starting 29th on the road today with some 28 cars ahead of him. And with all of that dust and with all of those cars to pass, he just has to go flat out. Fortunately, people pulling over and letting Mashioka pass in a gentlemanly spirit. A Nissan pulling over for the Mitsubishi, and 224 continues to go ahead into the distance. One of the Pro trucks pulls over, and it all seems easy going for Mashioka, even through the water splashes. However, it was not plain sailing for all of the 370 kilometers today when the Japanese driver had a puncture with the front left. And only after a couple of minutes he was back on the road and flat in top gear. 6-speed box for Mashioka, topping out at around 170 kilometers an hour. Here, though, is Jutta Kleinschmidt at the first control point, getting her time card stamped. And looking ahead into the dust, locking up all the wheels, is Jean-Louis Schlesser. Now, at the first control point, Schlesser was some 9 minutes ahead of Mashioka after 58 minutes of running on the stage. But look at this. Considering the images that we saw a few minutes earlier, Schlesser finding it not so easy to pass a car on the stage than Mashioka passing other cars earlier in the special stage. 370 kilometers of it. He caught Kleinschmidt, and Schlesser was some 13 minutes ahead of Mashioka on the stage. And even though Schlesser did win the stage overall, he only won it by 37 seconds. So he lost as good as 12.5 minutes once he caught Jutta Kleinschmidt's Mitsubishi. Now, Schlesser says that Kleinschmidt was driving, I quote you, like a granny for the last 20 minutes of the stage. Not a good day for Portugal's Carlos Sousa. He says that he had another suspension problem with the rear transaxle, and also he has had a gearbox casing problem.
E vai ser muito difícil, mesmo o caminhão penso que não tem peças para isso. Nós podíamos rodar só com tração às duas, mas penso que vai ser muito complicado. Não conseguimos tapar a fuga de óleo do cárter.
Sousa losing some 2 hours and 4 minutes today. Oh, what could have been for his third position overall. So the battle then continued to rage between Kleinschmidt and Schlesser on the stage, but just looking at other people for a moment, Stefan Orad's only 2 minutes and 39 seconds off the winner, Schlesser, today. Schlesser normally putting some 20 minutes into the VW buggy. Jose Maria Servia in his Schlesser buggy, less than 3.5 minutes back of Schlesser. Our onboard camera catching the action. Here is Gregoire de Mavius, who's run into problems, and he's asking the locals to give him a push. not quite so forthcoming as some of the spectators on the World Rally Championship, however. Damavius, though, conscious that he had lost time, and at the control points, asking the commissaire if there was anybody far behind, because, of course, Damavius is enclosed in the car and he will not be so aware of anybody coming up to pass him. Grégoire Damavius was 6th on the stage. Jean-Pierre Fontenay in the Mitsubishi was 7th on the stage. 17.5 minutes back of the victor today, Schlesser. Kurt Leduc having another brilliant day in his Kia. The American was 7th yesterday and 7th today. Bruno Sabi was 9th behind Kurt Leduc, the pushrod Ford, continuing on. Through the villages, through the dust and through the song. Kroll, brilliant drive from him, the Russian in his Mitsubishi today. A top 10 finish for him, and likewise Rakatansky, another Russian in 11th position in yet another Mitsubishi. The pair of them split by only 30 seconds exactly on the stage. Henri Pescarolo was 13th today in his Nissan, right behind Thierry Delaverne. Leading T1 car today was the Frenchman L'Hôtelier. So one of the most controversial stages of the rally, as if we hadn't had enough already. Schlesser victorious by only 37 seconds over Masuoka, Kleinschmidt, Orard and Servia. But overall, Masuoka continues to lead by 5 minutes and 51 seconds after 64.5 hours of rallying. Kleinschmidt 3rd, Servia and Souza. Now this is Jean-Louis Schlesser right at the finish of the stage today. Not a happy camper at all. He says the officials will do their job. The question, what is the problem? The problem? Have you seen it on TV? There is nothing else to say. You would just have to look at the pictures. You think that Jutta held you up? You have seen her at kilometre 144. I was touching her bumpers for 4 kilometres. You have seen it. It is not sport, but rules exist. One of them says that the driver caught by another driver must accept to be overtaken or they can take a penalty.
Wenn hinten dran gewesen wäre und ich ihn gesehen hätte, hätte ich ihn sicher vorbeigelassen, aber war nicht da.
Saying that I didn't see him all day long. He can say what he wants.
Wahrscheinlich kommt irgendwann mal vorbei.
I didn't see him.
Das kann nicht
erwarten. And I cannot just disappear into thin air.
Okay, aber das war nie
if he wants to overtake me.
Muss halt mit dem Staub leben. Ich kann auch nichts dafür, dass hier so staubig ist. Do you think it's possible to win?
Yeah, we'll try. Of course, we'll try.
You are in good shape. You have got good mental.
Yes, now so we must to try to win. That's all. Me and all the team members help me, so we will try.
Dakar is not finished.
Yes, after 3 days, so we will.
Là, je me suis dit, c'est perdu. Quand on est resté 40 km derrière un
Pascal Maimon, the co-driver for Masuoka. When we were held up held up for 40 kilometers behind Dakar. I thought we'd lost it. It was not his fault, but we cannot get close enough. So after the drama in the cars, what about the trucks today on their 370-kilometre stage? Well, once more, La Prace's Tatra was victorious. Some 5 hours and 7 minutes it took him to complete the stage, and he continues to lead the Dakar overall in his Tatra. Second today was Patono in his Mercedes, some 18 1/4 minutes back. Scattering the local wildlife as they run for cover. Likewise, Sugawara in his Hino was third, a few seconds back of second place Patino. Overall though, La Prace from Sugawara by some 8 hours. That is first and second position with the trucks on the Dakar. 3 days to go. Tomorrow from Bakel to Tambacounda in Senegal, a stage of some 285 kilometers against the clock. Senegalese stage, narrow roads, a lot of vegetation, high grass and bushes. The first part of the stage is over winding tracks through the bush, and then the second half is faster, run on parallel tracks where it'll be very narrow indeed for the trucks. The Dakar in the car section is certainly not over as we have seen today. Join us for more news very soon.